All right, everyone, it is time for our brand new experiment of the week, and we are going to do it right here in my basement studio. So what we're going to do is, still sticking to biology, we're going to take a little look at yeast and one of the biological processes that it undergoes when it is eating. So we have a really cool experiment that you can easily replicate in your classroom, or you could replicate the experiment at home. So a little bit about yeast to get us started. It was discovered by Louis Pasteur to be a living organism. He found that in 1857. Now, yeast, there are about 160 known species, and it's very, very tiny. So in 1 gram, there can be 25 billion cells. So let's explore how yeast eats, how yeast feeds. And the best way to do that is to do a little switcheroo here with my camera view. So there we go. You should be able to see my hands here, nice front and center. And we're going to talk about the materials that we are going to need for this experiment. First thing you're going to need is 3 balloons. They don't have to be anything special. I've got happy birthday balloons here. Any balloon should work just fine. Maybe not the really thin ones where you make balloon animals. You want one that you can blow up and make a nice circle with. So we need 3 of those balloons. We need 3 bottles. So water bottle, Gatorade bottle, pop bottle, whatever works for you. You can use one of these bottles. And you don't want it to be bigger than a liter. So liter, maybe even smaller will work even better. So a nice water bottle, I think they're around 500 to 600 milliliters. Those are a good fit. You need some sugar. We've got some of that right there. And then what you're going to need as well is some warm water. So 105, 115 degrees Fahrenheit, somewhere in that area, nice and warm coming from your tap. And finally, you need the yeast. And you might be thinking, well, where am I going to find some yeast? Well, head to your grocery store. Very easy to find in the baking section. Yeast is a very important ingredient for making bread. So there we go. You can find that at your grocery store. So what are we going to do? We are going to take our balloon to start, and we're going to blow it up a few times. We're going to stretch it out, really stretch it out, blow it up like that. Let the air out. We're really going to do that a few times because we want it to be nice and loose, our balloons. So blow them up a few times. Then we are going to take our bottles of water, and in each of them, we are going to put some of the warm water. So maybe something like 2 inches in the bottom of that nice warm water in all 3 bottles. Then in the first bottle, that's all we're going to do. We're going to take our balloon, we're going to stretch out the top, and we are going to put it over top like that, and we're done with that one. In our second bottle, we are going to add the yeast to the water. After that, we will put the balloon on top. In our third bottle, we will have the water, we'll have the yeast, and then we're going to add sugar. So maybe 2 tablespoons of sugar into the top before we put the balloon on. After that, we will take all 3 of our bottles and put them somewhere warm. Maybe you have a window in your classroom or at home where you can put it in the sun, or something like a radiator or a heat register. You could leave the balloon, the bottle with the balloon there. Then we're going to leave it and check up on it. So 15 minutes, half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour, and see what is happening to the balloon. Is it inflating on all the bottles or some of them? What is going on? You want to record your results. What happens with bottle 1, bottle 2, and bottle 3? Then we're going to have 3 questions for you to answer. The first one is, which bottle had the best results? So which one inflated the balloon the most? Was it bottle 1 with just water, bottle 2 with water and yeast, or bottle 3 with water, yeast, and sugars as well? And why do you think that happened? Number 2, what biological process do you think is taking place? So carbon dioxide is what is filling that balloon. What biological process is taking part to make that happen? And finally, what role does yeast play in the baking of bread? We know we can find this yeast in our baking aisle at the grocery store, but why? What role does it play in the baking of bread? So there we go. That is your challenge for this week, to get the yeast feeding and see what happens in your 3 bottles: your water and yeast, and your water and sugar. You could do this, water, yeast, and sugar. You can do this at school. You can do this at home. Send us in some pictures and then the answer to those 3 questions. And you want to send those to classroom@darwin200.com. So classroom@darwin200.com. Send us some pictures. Send us the answer to those questions. You can find this video on the Darwin 200 YouTube if you want to look at it again. Then on the website, you can find the video with a little PDF that explains what we're doing and what the 3 questions are. You have 2 weeks to submit your answers, and the top 3 responses will get a £50 Amazon gift card. Thank you so much for joining us for the experiment, and we look forward to seeing your results.